Okay, so we're going to start off with thinking about our graphing in math class, and we'll want to graph these 4 points. Please pause the video and plot these points over here on the grid, and then restart it to see what the answers are. Okay, at this time you should have the 4 dots put in, and here's where they should go. 2, 3 is going to be 2 to the right, and then 3 up, and that'll be a point right there. -4, 1 is 4 to the left, and then 1 up. -5, -3 is going to be 5 to the left and 3 down. 3, -5 is going to be 3 to the right and 5 down. Reading locations on a map is very similar to using coordinates on a math graph like this up here. It's not exactly the same though. There are a couple differences, but the general idea is the same. Go ahead and read today's purpose, relevance, and success, the grades, and next quizzes. I should add here that you might have something called Wrap Up 6. Maybe, maybe not. Check out your Schoology account. If you have any questions about anything we've done so far, please email your teacher. The video was not working for me today, and so we're going to scratch that off. But who knows, maybe you can give it a try, look at that link, and in that case, I think it's worth your looking at. But it's not anything that we're going to be having on a test or a quiz, and so we can cross off 1 and 2. Number 3, to locate a place on a map, people use coordinates very much like we do coordinates in math. However, for some unknown reason, they switched the, let me get it more in focus. For some unknown reason, they switched the 2 numbers around. The up and down coordinates goes first, the left-right numbers, east-west, goes second. Up here, the first number, of course, is the x, that's the left-right, and the y is the second number going up and down, and they've switched it around. Another difference is that instead of saying positive, they either do N for north or E for east, and instead of saying negative, they either have S for south or W for west. Number 4. Just as math grids have an x-axis, the map has a horizontal line through the middle. The horizontal line, that is 0 north and south, is the equator. From there, numbers go up to 90 degrees north. Here's 0, 30, 60, 90. And down to 90 south. 0, 30, 60, 90 on the south side. The numbers also go up on the sides. Let's see here. I jumped. At the extremes, we have the poles at 90 degrees north and 90 degrees south. Number 5. On the map below, thicken the horizontal line that is the equator. Which one is it? Well, here we have the 0 mark, and so it's this line here. It goes through Indonesia, and then it goes through the middle of Africa, and it goes to South America through Brazil and Ecuador. There we go. The numbers on the sides go up to 90 north and 90 south. These numbers are known as degrees of latitude. People sometimes refer to locations of higher latitudes. These mean locations closer to the poles. So, Canada would be a country of high latitudes. Its latitude number is 60. And then we have Sweden and Norway and Siberia. These have the same 60 degrees on the north side of the equator, so that would be high latitudes. But way down here as well, like I think this is New Zealand here, this might be considered high latitude as well because it has a high number of being around 50 degrees south of the equator. Even though it's south, it's still a high number of 50, and so that would be a high latitude. Number 7. half the planet that is above the equator is the northern hemisphere. Label it. So all of this up here. The half the planet that's below the equator is the southern hemisphere. Label it. Number 9. There is also a vertical line through the middle of the map. Just like we have the vertical line here with the y-axis, we have the vertical line here on the globe. It's known as the prime meridian. On the map below, thicken this line. Right here, it's labeled as 0, right in the middle. So it goes through England, France, Spain, Algeria, and down there. Notice that it is labeled 0 degrees along the top. From here we measure 180 degrees to the west, so 0, 30, 60, 90, etc., all the way up to 180 here on the left side. That's the west side. And then we have all the way up to 180 on the east side as well. These north-south lines are called lines of longitude. Now it's really easy to get mixed up between longitude and latitude. They both have L at the beginning. They're both the same length. They have the UDE or the TUDE at the end. So this is the way that I remember the difference between these. The lines of longitude are all the same length, and they all go from the halfway around the globe. So from the North Pole all the way down to the South Pole. No matter which one of these vertical lines are and how they're curved a little bit, they still represent going from the North Pole to the South Pole. They have the same length. They are the longest lines possible on Earth. However, lines of latitude, the equator goes all the way around Earth at the widest point. But as we go to these higher and higher latitudes, we go around circles that are smaller and smaller circles. You can imagine at the North Pole there might be a circle where it's only a mile around. And so they have different lengths. They are not all long. But these lines, the vertical ones, they are all very, very long from the North Pole to the South Pole. That's how I remember it, at least. Maybe that helps you, maybe not. Let's see here, number 11. The half of the planet that is to the right of the prime meridian is called the eastern hemisphere. Label it. The half of the planet that's on the left of the prime meridian is called the western hemisphere. Label it. Please note that in political or cultural discussions, Western Hemisphere, or the West, includes Europe. So here, a lot of Europe is on the east side of the prime meridian, so geographically it's the Eastern Hemisphere. However, when we talk about politics and culture, it's considered Western Hemisphere, or the West. Also, when we talk about the Eastern Hemisphere, or the East, culturally and politically, we're mainly referring to Asia. Australia isn't really considered part of that. All right. Refocus on today's purpose. I will learn how to find a location and give it a set of coordinates. Okay, so what we've done so far is we've learned how the axes work in order to get these coordinates, but we haven't actually used it, so we've got to practice here a little bit. Number 14. On a math grid, the origin is where the x-axis and y-axis meet. On the map below, draw the equator and the prime meridian extra heavy, and we'll see where those meet. So here's the prime meridian, and here's the equator. And where they meet is right there, and that's going to be the origin. That's where we start off with all of our problems here as we do our coordinates. Number 20. Note the compass rose in the bottom left. Right there. How do you remember the order? The N up here, then the E, then the S, then the W. There is a common silly sentence that is taught around here in the schools of the junior high schools in Lake County, and that is, never eat soggy waffles. That reminds us of the NESW going around. Okay, so here's the procedure for find the coordinates, find the locations from coordinates. Number 1, find the 0, 0 next to Africa. That's always in this little nook right there. Step number 2, go up or down there according to the first number in the coordinate pair, and then you go left or right according to the second number. So here are the numbers that we're first going to use, the coordinates. The first one is 60 north, 40 east. So starting off at the origin, we're going to go east, so that's going to be up. And we can see all the numbers on the side here going up, up, up. So 60 is right there. So it's going to be somewhere along this line here. And from this point, we're going to go 40 east. So east is on the right-hand side, going to the east. So looking at the numbers up here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 10, 20, 30, 40, right there is going to be our first star, the first location for problem number 1. Problem number 2, 10 south, 20 west. Start here at the origin. 10 south is going down 10. See it, 10 over here. And then 20 west. West is going to the left. 10, 20. See up here, 10, 20? Up at the top. So right here is that location. Number 3, 50 north, 170 east. Pause the video for a second and try to do that one on your own. Okay, here's the answer now for number 3. 50 north is going to be going up 5 notches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have 170 east. So we're going to go all the way across, almost all the way. At the top here it says 170. So it's going to be right there. Technically, the 180 over here is the exact same as the 180 over there. It's just that this we count up going east, and here we count up going west, but they end up being at the exact same spot. Okay, next. 20 south, 150 west. Pause the video now and try to do that one on your own. Here's how you do problem number 4. 20 south is going to be going down 2 notches. Each notch is 10 degrees on this map. On other maps it's going to be different. 20 south is here, and then 150 west. Remember, west is to the left here. So 150 degrees, looking at the top, we can find where 150 is. It's way over here. So it's going to end up being right about there. Okay, now that is finding the location, the spot on a map when we start off with numbers. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to start off with a spot and find the numbers. So looking at this spot here off of Florida, first of all, how far away from the equator is it? It's 1, 2, 3 spots away from the equator, 3 lines. Each line is 10, so it's 30 degrees away from the equator. So I'm going to put a 30 there. I'm going to get a different marker here. I'm going to make it bigger so we can see more easily. It's 30 degrees away from the equator, and we have to put a letter here next to the number so that we can say which side of the equator. It's on the top, on the north side of the equator, so we put an N there. And now we go left and right from the prime meridian. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots, 7 lines away from the prime meridian, so that's 70 degrees. And it's on the west side. Remember, west over here. So there's our coordinates there. 30 north, 70 west. Down here, How far away is it from the equator? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, so that's going to be 50 degrees on the south side of the equator. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yep. And now, how far from the prime meridian? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 70 degrees. So we can go up, and there's the 70 up. There's the 70 up there, lined up. So 70 degrees, and we have to put the W for the west side, the left side of the map. Next one, in Siberia here. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines up. That's 60 degrees on the north side. And it is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. You can see an 80 up here. 80 degrees on the east side. We can separate them by commas, that's fine. Sometimes you'll even see parentheses around them. Last one. It is 10 degrees on the south side. And it's 10, 20, 30 degrees on the east side. And that's how you do the coordinates on a map. Please look at your material list for today, and you will probably see that there is homework 6 on there. That's where we're finding the coordinates of all sorts of Dunkin' Donuts stores around the world. You might even have something called Wrap-Up 6, maybe, maybe not. Check it out. Depends upon whether or not your teacher does those. Thank you very much. You're done.